Good morning and welcome back to the channel. We all know that Chris Sutton loves a good argument online, and he's at it again. He's sticking up for Brendan Rodgers and he's sticking up for Celtic. Let's listen to see what he has to say.
Brendan Rodgers and Scottish football last week. To recap very briefly, I questioned on this, on It's All Coming Up mini podcast, I asked why Brendan went back to Celtic when he's already achieved everything he could ever achieve there. I then wrote a column about it. It's got pretty ugly on my social media stream, and since then. And you have been really wound up about it. You messaged me on Friday mornings with capital letters saying it's not funny. That's what you said.
I don't. So I don't know.
I'm not laughing either, but I still stand by it.
Yeah, but I think you're an excellent journalist, but I think you've got this badly wrong. I do. I think. Well, do you want to get your stats out of the way?
Yeah, I do.
Go.
So I said that Brendan shouldn't go back. Can only win what he won before, which is everything domestically. Hasn't got a chance of succeeding in Europe. And I think what plays to that is that they lose 6-0 in Europe last week in Atletico Madrid, come back home and then beat Aberdeen 6-0 by the same score, which shows they are far too good for the league that they're in, but they're not good enough.
Hang on a minute.
I haven't finished. They're not good enough for the league, for the company that they want to keep. Celtic are top of the Scottish Premiership. They've got 35 points. The team in third, admittedly they've played a game less, the team in third, St Mirren, have got 19.
Just a stupid, it's a really stupid argument.
Celtic have almost got double the amount of points as a team in third.
But so I mean, where do you want to go with this? Manchester City have won the Premier League 5 out of the last 6 seasons.
I want to know what's wrong with my argument.
So it's interesting in a European week that you chose to have a pop at Celtic, who look, it's an embarrassment. Right. Yes. Let's not look. I listened to what you said and I listened to what Dom said. I saw your article. It's a pop at Celtic. It's a pop at Scottish football. So in a week where Manchester United, who have spent over £400 million lose to the minnows of Copenhagen, you chose not to mention that. Newcastle United have spent a fortune, bottom of their Champions League group. You just went all in on Celtic and Scottish football. Yep. Bottom line with Brendan Rodgers, okay, so you said that he's going in your article something about spending his most valuable years
marking time.
So how can you judge what Brendan's goals are for him taking on a particular job? How can you judge it? That isn't for you to judge, is it? No, it's not for you to judge. But you can change your opinion on a certain job role, and if Brendan is doing that and he's gone back into a difficult situation, then he's entitled to do that. That's not for you to judge. And your whole sort of mediocre poverty line on Scottish football, it's sort of, I mean, is it all about commercialism? Is it all about elitism? So you're telling me, in your opinion, you think the Scottish League is poor, right?
Yeah.
So, but this is where Scottish people get sick and tired of the likes of people like yourself. It's a misguided judgment. Scottish football, okay, in terms of attendances. Okay, they are the best supported league in European football. So you can have your opinion on the standard of football. But the biggest barometer, the best barometer is Scottish people don't care what you think because they go to the games week in and week out and they love their football. That's the biggest barometer. Not having the most riches, that's elitism on your part.
It's a slightly different argument.
No, it's not.
I'm talking about I talked about why would Brendan go back? What can he achieve?
Because he may have a different a different view on what he wants to go back for.
He may have, and I'm paid to have an opinion.
You can't judge that
on whether I think he's right or wrong.
It's speculative. Your opinion was.
It's called analysis and comment, Chris.
Based on nothing.
It's what a column is.
No, it's based on nothing. That column.
Well, based on facts and figures.
Well, it wasn't facts and figures.
So I take your point about Scottish football being popular, and that's really interesting. I didn't actually know that. that attendances were on the up there. That heartens me.
They're not on the up. They are the best supported league in Europe.
Yeah, you mean in terms of population?
In terms of population,
okay.
But so while you're saying about poverty and mediocrity, the bigger thing, Scottish people like it. Scottish football fans like it.
You could argue that they just want to go and watch some football and that's the best that there is.
But
you could argue that.
God! But that's insulting. But that's just pathetic.
The thing is, mate, you understandably feel very passionately about this subject.
I just think I'm being fair.
And you do get very defensive about it.
I know what Scottish football is, and so do people in Scotland, and they don't want to be patronised by English journalists putting the boot in when with speculative sort of analysis and comments and comments which I think are clearly wrong.
That was Chris Sutton having an absolute dig at him for slating Scottish football, and sometimes it's not pretty to watch Scottish football, but I mean, people that go to the games, there are a lot of people that go to games in Scottish football, and it is well loved. There's people in Scotland spend a lot of money going to games, and yes, the product could be slightly better. It could be a bit more defensive, a bit less defensive, should I say, when it comes to teams attacking, when it comes to playing the big two especially. But when you look at it, it is what it is, and people love going to the games, and that's all it's about. I mean, how many English teams can say that they get the amount of fans that Scottish teams get on a regular basis? In other news, Kyogo has been talking about his injury. He's been talking about his injury, and he doesn't remember a thing about it. The head knock that left him with no memory of the tackle. The Japanese striker was forced off the pitch during the second half with that absolutely disgusting, we have to call it. It was an absolutely disgusting headbutt to the back of the head. People are saying it was a 50-50. He was going for the ball. Look, he actually sticks the head right into the back of Kyogo. He knew what he was doing, and he knew he was lucky not to get sent off. Kyogo has been speaking about it, and he said he has no idea what happened during the collision with the Aberdeen player that caused him to lose his memory. The Japanese striker has been pulled out of the international squad after the head knock, and he admits he has no memory of the game or his teammates and being worried about him. And it was a cracker. I mean, you've seen it as soon as it happened. The players were shouting him over, shouting the bench over. They knew that he was knocked clean out. But we all just hope that Kyogo gets over it, because you've got to watch with head knocks. We all know the way that head knocks can be really damaging to their mental health in older age. But hopefully Kyogo will be fine. He picked himself up off the pitch. He walked off the pitch. He's been on social media. He says he can't remember even what happened. He's basically said he can't remember what happened. He didn't think it was that serious to start with, but it's a head knock. He's now been ruled out for a couple of weeks. He says, I don't know how long I was there. I don't remember anything about my friends worrying about me afterwards. I just remember walking off the pitch. I don't remember anything, says Kyogo. So at the hospital, he was told everything was fine, and he felt that the football gods had protected him. He will never forget the gratitude, and he will do his best in the future. That's just Kyogo all over, isn't it? He probably feels that he lets the team down having to go off injured. That's the way that Kyogo works. It wasn't your fault, wee man. You got a terrible tackle, headbutt in the back of the head. You were knocked clean out, and all the best for the future. And let's get a couple of weeks rest, and then let's get back onto the season, dominate Scottish football, and win the league and win the cup.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party.